Hello! It's that time of year again where I do a birthday collection update because my birthday was on Thursday and it's now Saturday, hopefully, when this video goes out. So I'll be showing you all the merchandise I've picked up since I last did a January one, and I'm going to throw in my birthday stuff in there. So it's quite a big collection update. I may be doing another collection update video towards the end of March, maybe the beginning of April. Show you what other stuff I bought. Maybe I'll do that. It's just an idea on the card. If you want to see that, then comment below and I'll do that. So without further ado, let's start with the first item I got was this, the season 12 Tom Baker scarf. Now I did want to get the season 16 one because it's more accurate to the sort of colours actually used on the scarf, whereas this is a bit, you know, the yellow's a bit garish and all that. But for 70 quid, it's quite an expensive thing. Thankfully, BBC Shop I had a BBC Shop code, so I managed to get a bit of a discount on it, which is good because I think 50 quid's a bit much for it. But I've been wanting a Tom Baker scarf for a while, like a proper one, instead of the one I use for like my overview, like the 4th Doctor adventure. So this will be featuring in those videos, which is very nice. So it's going to come in handy, and plus it's quite cold outside, so this is a great item to
Right, the first thing I got was this vintage car to go alongside my 3rd Doctor figure. So I'm hopefully going to try and customise this and turn it into Bessie. It's going to be a bit of work needs doing to it, but it just looks a good little stand-in for Bessie, and it's sort of in scale as you can see, and just the 3rd Doctor looks great up against it, just superb. So there we are, this nice vintage car will soon become Bessie because I've got a big obsession with Bessie. So I'm going to start off with spin-off Big Finish. One of the items you've already seen in a collection update, in an unboxing video. The first item I'm going to show is this, Scorpius. I finally managed to track this down so I can finally begin the overviewing of the Cyberman Series 1, so that's probably going to be my first sort of spin-off overview, because I've been so excited to listen to this, and it's, I'm just so happy to have it actually, because it's just been a pain in the ass to find, and just to have it physically is just, and it looks brilliant with the other, so it's just great to have that. Now onto the item we've seen, and that is Cyberman 2. I thought I might as well include it in this update. So yes, I've managed to complete the Cyberman series. I believe that Big Finish are going to be reprinting the Cyberman series. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it was featured in like an interview Nick Briggs was in, and he's doing like a special featurette for the box set. I think Series 1 and Series 2 are going to be combined in this big box set, so that'd be nice if you wanted to get into the Cyberman series, and hopefully they'll do a Cyberman 3 because they're on about doing a Dalek Empire 5, so could Cyberman 3 be on the cards, because this does finish on a cliffhanger. Very interesting. Now I've become addicted with this Big Finish spin-off, and you've probably guessed what it is, and that is Jago and Lightfoot. I've managed to pick up Series 4. I'll just give you my quick thoughts on the first 3 series, what I've listened to. Series 1, very good setup series. I loved Alan Barnes' story, The Beloved Devil. That's just a superb story, my favourite in the set. Even though they're all high standard. I mean, I don't think there is a bad Jago and Lightfoot story. I think the lowest I've ever rated a Jago and Lightfoot story is a 7 out of 10. So that just shows how high a standard the stories are. Series 2, my favourite, Lightfoot and Saunders, is out of this world. It's just, so gothic, and it's just superb. That is just a real treat to listen to. And Series 3 is probably the most Doctor Who with these time sort of portals opening and Leela's involved in all that. But Series 4 is going to be very exciting with Colin Baker in there. Obviously Colin's returning to Jago and Lightfoot this year in April for Series 11, so that'll be exciting. So hopefully by the time Series 11's come out, I'll be all caught up with the Jago and Lightfoot range. Now move on to another Jago and Lightfoot box set, Series 5, the most unique one out of the set, I suppose, because we see these 2 characters go to the swinging 60s. Isn't that exciting, seeing 2 old blokes in the 60s from the Victorian era? It does have a returning villain from the classic series in this, but I'm not going to say what villain that is. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun. The trailer sounds quite funny, so I think this is going to be a very funny box set. Now we move on to Series 6. And I think this is where it sort of begins a sort of overarching thing, what will lead into Series 7. But this one sounds very good. I mean, I've got to be honest, all the stories sound so fantastic. and I just look forward to listening to that, really. Now, probably the most anticipated series I really want to listen to right from when I wanted to get into the range, and that is Series 7, because Jago and Lightfoot meet Sir Arthur and Conan Doyle, I think, and they get involved in that, and it's got Jack the Ripper in, so it's going to be very good. I mean, this box set just sounds superb, and it just seems like it'll fit the Gothic Victorian era brilliantly. So this is my most anticipated Jago and Lightfoot box set. And finally for Jago and Lightfoot, and that is Series 8, where we've got a musical Jago and Lightfoot episode. That's going to be interesting. It's got a character from Talent of Weng Chang returning, the old sort of lady who sort of sees the body, so that'd be interesting to see a story with her, and obviously it's not played by the original actress. But yeah, I think the Jago and Lightfoot Scorchy episode is going to be a lot of fun, to say the least. Right, onto the Doctor Who stuff. Obviously, my challenge is by the end of this year to complete the monthly range in Big Finish. And a milestone has been reached because I've finally managed to complete the first 100, which is just amazing. And it's just happy to actually complete that, because this, like I said, in Big Finish fans, is probably the weakest section of the monthly range. So to finally get it over and done with is quite satisfying. So let's kick it off with Kedroya, which I'm going to need to listen to for my top 10 monthly range McGann stories to see whether this will reach the list. I've started filming bits of it from what I know for certain what's going to be in those places. But yeah, I think this will be interesting, and it's a final Divergent story, and the final story needs to complete the monthly range McGann stories for me. Next up we have Thicker Than Water. Now this story, I believe, continues from Arrangements for War. So yeah, I think this is going to be Evelyn's departure story. So yeah, it'd be interesting to listen to that story. Next up we have quite a big chunky release, which is The Settling. The story what I've been wanting for quite some time, because I'm quite interested with this, and I think it's a pure historical. It's only 100 minutes long, but it's got a free disc because it's got a sample disc of other Big Finish spin-offs like Sapphire and Steel, which is no longer a Big Finish website, and I think it's got Graceless on there, so this will be interesting, because the 7th Doctor does have quite a few pure historical stories in the monthly range. Next up we have ID. This is a story I'm quite frankly dreading listening to, because it just doesn't appeal to me one little bit. I think the little bonus episode on this, Urgent Calls, sounds a lot better, and I think that's free on the Big Finish's SoundCloud. We have Exotron, which sounds alright. Yeah, I don't know really what to make of it. I've only listened to the trailer of it so far. Valhalla, with Michelle Gomez and Sylvester McCoy, so that would be a nice little novel thing to listen to in general. Next up we have a story which I've listened to a trailer and I've listened to a bit of, and that is The Wishing Beast. So far it's a pretty good story. The trailer sounds really creepy, sort of like a fairy tale-esque story with Colin Baker and Bonnie Langford, so yeah, it's quite a good story so far. I've only listened to part 1 and it's very enjoyable. Then we have The Magic Mousetrap, which is a story I've wanted for ages, because I really wanted to hear the 7th Doctor verse this villain. I'm not going to reveal the villain because that will spoil the whole story, but yeah, this is just a story I'm really excited to listen to. And finally, Aquitaine, the most recent monthly range story. I'm going to be reviewing it. Yes, I'm not going to say much about that. Right, on to other Big Finish ranges in general. So we'll start off with the 4th Doctor Adventures. I've got the Abandon, the story I needed to complete the 4th Doctor range. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting listen to. I think this is probably one of the weakest Tom Baker audios apparently by fans, so it's going to be interesting to see whether I like it or hate it. So this will be good for my series 3 overview of the 4th Doctor Adventures, so that'll be nice to do that video. And then we have the most recent 4th Doctor adventure, The Labyrinth of Buddha Castle, and the review of this is in the planning stages, so that will be coming very soon. Okay, next up we have a box set, Infernal Devices. I filmed a review of this, so that should be coming out next week. I've just got to film my concluding thoughts on this set, and then that will be ready for uploading, hopefully out next week, so I'll have to wait to find my thoughts on that. Obviously Doom Coalition was out Thursday on my birthday, so that was a nice little treat, a big finish to do, to release that on my birthday. Obviously that's sheer coincidence, they did that. Next up we have a companion chronicle, The Scorches by James Goss. He's quite a good writer. I really did enjoy The Last Post. That's a fantastic love letter to season 7. So yeah, it'd be interesting, a musical third Doctor story. Yeah, I think John would have actually quite enjoyed that, because he's did quite a few singing things, didn't he? So yeah, he did a Wurzel Gummidge song, so yeah, it would have been interesting to actually see that on telly, actually, a third Doctor musical episode. Then we have a lost story, one what I needed to complete season 2, and that is Earth Aid. Yes, to begin the overviewing of season 2, so I've got to listen to this and listen to the rest of season 2, and I've got to review the first Doctor Lost story box as well, so I've got quite a bit of work to do with season 2 of the Lost Stories as well. The thing with the season 27 Lost Stories is they've sort of got a little arc going on with him. They're sort of like a new series sort of style series, but with the 7th Doctor, especially with like rain and all that going on. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I did enjoy Animal, so hopefully this will follow suit in your enjoyableness, because apparently fans aren't much of a fan of the season 27, and I've got to be honest, I'm a bit on the fence with some of the releases. Finally, to conclude this collection update, is the ISOS Network, the last story of the Early Adventures Series 2. Now this was probably my second most anticipated one, because obviously it's Troughton and the 60s Cybermen, you know, my favourite era of the Cybermen in general. This is meant to be done like a Target book with lots of narration, so if people aren't a fan of narration, then it might be a release to stay clear of. But yeah, it's a release I'm really excited about, because it's just going to be a love letter to the 60s, hopefully, well, 60s Cybermen anyway. So there we are, that's that done. So that concludes my collection update slash birthday collection. They got quite a fair few audios, the 4th Doctor scarf and the lovely vintage car to become Bessie. So there we are, that concludes my collection update. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever that will be. Hopefully it will be Infernal Devices. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.